Hi, YouTube family. So I'm trying to get back in the swing of things and making you guys your videos and stuff like that. And a conversation that's come up a lot for me on Facebook lately, people reaching out to me, stuff like that, is, with the holidays and dealing with losing loved ones, depression, how do you cope with it? Well, my apologies, my nose is itching real bad. The main reason for this video, honestly, is I had one person in particular reach out to me today, and she had asked, did I think that antidepressants help? And my response was, yes, to an extent. And she said, well, what do you mean by an extent? And I said, well, if you've never been on antidepressants and you've never had any kind of therapy, or you're not going to know if it works for you. Anytime you start a new antidepressant, it takes up to 2 weeks before it even gets in your body. It can be a good thing or a bad thing. You do have to be very aware of your body, your mind, and your emotional stature. You definitely have to be able to notice differences within your body. If you can't notice differences within yourself, such as feelings of emptiness, suicidal thoughts, feelings of self-hate, for myself, when I suffered from it really bad before I got on anything, and I found out that I had thyroid problems. My thyroid actually plays a role in why I'm depressed. So when I don't take my medication because I know I can't afford it and I try to skip a day or something, I can tell a difference. Today is one of those days and my brain is very foggy from it, so probably not the best idea to make this video, but that's okay. You learn to figure things out. For myself, I write everything down, and when I start noticing a difference, I make sure I take it to the doctor. I tell them, okay, this isn't working, but this is working. This is what helped for me, and this is what is not helping for me. Personally, I believe in positive manifestation and positive self-talk, so I do tend to keep a diary and write things down. Not very long entries, but just like every morning, one of my goals is to wake up and say that today will be a good day. It might be, or it can be, it will be a good day. And even if it's not one of the best days, that's okay, because I'll take something from it. I'll learn. I'll spend time with my family. Something will be different. I try things like, our needs are met, or they will be met. We'll be able to help other people. Something like that. Something positive. Something to look forward to. I've taught my kids this. It seems to work with them. With her, she's been going through a lot of family issues. She has suffered the loss of a loved one. And it's definitely taken a big toll on her. There's another young lady that I know that she's a very strong young lady. She lost her child in July, and she's fallen completely apart. She has a newborn. He is 4 weeks old, and she refuses to get help. She refuses to get help because she breastfeeds, and she doesn't want the baby to have that kind of stuff in his system. Understandable, respected, but when your mind is the way it is, and you are so discombobulated and people are fearing for not just you but your child because you can't seem to cope with anything, even on a good day, it's time to find help. I know I've made a video before about depression, and I said it's okay to not be okay, and it's perfectly fine. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be able to smile all day long. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say, hey, I just kind of need somebody to sit with me for a minute. And if you don't want somebody to sit with you, it's okay to say, I don't want to be bothered. For some people, it's easier for them to deal with things by being alone as opposed to having somebody up their butt. I personally think if you have somebody that's depressed and you know they're depressed, don't be scared to reach out to them, but if they do show that they need time to themselves or they express it, you give it to them. Another thing is, even if they do express they need time to themselves, make sure you monitor how much time they're taking to themselves. Look for telltale signs of self-mutilation. That's something that people do when they're by themselves, and a lot of time it's just to release the endorphins that you can't release by screaming or whatever. A lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people they automatically think, oh, well, you're doing it for attention. No, they're not doing it for attention. It is a chemical imbalance in their brain. They honestly think that by doing this, they're making themselves feel better. And for that very moment, they may feel better. But it doesn't make the situation better. So in the comments, you guys down below, let me know how you deal with depression. If you had a loved one that was having a hard time dealing with the loss of someone, or you were really worried about them and you didn't know what to do, friend, family, whomever it may be, how would you respond to the situation? I don't know if these people are going to seek out help. I don't, but I hope they do. I feel it's something they would greatly benefit from. Personally, I don't like taking medication unless I absolutely have to, so I strive not to. But I think in their situation, they need to. I really don't think that doing it by themselves right now is going to be an option, if that makes sense. It's November 29th, 2018 right now. Probably about 7:30ish p.m. And I was sitting here thinking, I really need to make a video, and what should I do? What should I say? I already made a video about depression, but I'm starting to realize that depression is one of those things that just aren't talked about. And it's a silent killer, because you have the people that will verbalize it, like myself. You have people that will just not say anything. You have the ones that will unfortunately take their lives thinking they're making other people happy, not realizing that they're putting an added stress on them, because when you do that, you have to make arrangements. You have to go on without a person. You have the heartache. Immediate family most of the time misses work because of it. Some people find it hard to go on, period, for a long time. And nowadays, a lot of people can't afford health insurance, let alone burial insurance. So if a family member does do something like that, how are you supposed to care for them after the fact, Another thing that I've noticed is people don't talk about the fact that with depression, it does hurt physically. It'll make every bone, every muscle, every joint in your body hurt. It will make you feel like you have the flu, kinda, and there's nothing wrong with you. But you can't control how you're feeling because of the depression. The depression makes you feel this way. And it can make you stay in bed. It can make you withdraw from your friends, your family. It can make you lose yourself. And sometimes losing yourself is worse than anything. It's definitely a slippery slope. I can't talk. I'm tired. Depression will make you miss sleep. It'll make you sleep a lot. It makes you very forgetful, very foggy-headed. There's just so much that depression causes, and nobody even realizes it, and nobody talks about it. It's not verbalized. And in a way, it's like when those that do talk about it, nobody wants to hear it. Don't talk about it. You're going to make it worse than it already is. Well, what if this helps just one person? One person. Find somebody to talk to. Don't give up. Don't. Sometimes it seems easier. I've been there, trust me, several times. But I always found one thing to make me keep pushing. Always. I'm grateful I have. I've lost some people this year, matter of fact, to depression. And it hurts and it's hard and it's frustrating. But I know that there was nothing I could have done. Honestly, I think when you get that far down in depression, you're contemplating suicide, you don't think about how it's going to affect the ones that care about you. You don't think about how it's going to affect them, it's going to hurt them, or what not only you're taking away physically, as in you being there, and mentally, but financially, the strain you put on them. Myself, the person I'm talking about, was not a financial strain, but emotionally, I have not been the same since this person passed away. I've had a very difficult time dealing with it. I've shut off from a lot of people. I choose not to talk about it. People bring it up and start talking to me about it, and I walk away. And it's because I don't want to deal with it yet. I'm not ready. But I will be. And when that time comes, I hope that those people are still there. Depression can make you gain weight. It can make you lose weight. It can aid in getting addicted to drugs. It can aid in being codependent on alcohol and things of that nature. And these are all things that nobody takes into consideration. Depression is a butthole, to say the least. And you guys, I hope that if you are having a hard time, or surviving, having those kind of thoughts, or making an attempt and you're still here and you've changed, that's good. Depression leads to eating disorders, you guys. I watched the same person I'm talking about that passed away. I watched her completely destroy herself in high school before they moved. She starved herself. She was, I don't remember what it's called, but she would eat in front of people and then make herself throw up. I can't remember what it's called. And she did this to the point she lost about 120 pounds. She and I have always been heavy people. She was about 230 and she got down to 110, and then she always looked really sick. And then she went from that to, she got better, she ate, she got weight on her, she wasn't heavy anymore, she was healthy. And then she had her kids, beautiful, beautiful children. And I think probably when her youngest was about 4, she started using opiates. Became quite reliant on them. She in turn lost her children to foster care, and then she decided she was going to straighten up, and she lost somebody very close to her due to a freak accident. She made it 5 years. She was clean, sober. From what everybody could tell, personally, I think there was more behind it. I believe she was still using, but had learned ways to make it appear that she was okay. She wasn't using, but I don't think she was using as often as she once did. but she was still using again. Anyway, long story short, this year she got in an accident. It's been deemed a car accident, but I personally think there's a lot more to it. Do I have proof? No. Will I ever find proof? No. But do I really believe that it was a car accident? No, because there's things that people that are going to do something like that say to specific people before they do it, and these things were said to me. Like, you know I love you, right? Or, you've always been my best friend. Thank you for always being there. Most of the time, from people I've talked to, it seems to be, you know I love you, right? It seems to be the main thing. Or just randomly apologizing and not knowing why they're apologizing. And this person, before, the day before, or the evening before, they got in their quote-unquote car accident. We had talked for... Sorry, there's something on my couch. We had talked for a few hours. And before we hung up, she said, I want you to know I'm sorry. And I said, for what? You haven't done anything, you're fine. And she said, okay. And we always told each other we loved each other. And before we hung up, I said to her, I said her name, and I said, I love you. And she goes, you know I love you, right? And I'd never do anything to disappoint or hurt you. And I said, yeah, what's wrong? Nothing. I'll call you in the morning. I love you. That was the last time I heard from her. I've always struggled with depression. Sorry. I've always struggled with depression, and that's okay. But when something like that happens and you don't open up about it, and this is proof, when you don't open up about it and you finally do, you may be able to hold it together for a while, but you will start to fall apart. And before you actually speak on it, you may start to fall apart. It is okay to need help. It is okay to be depressed. It's nothing to be ashamed of. So do I think that antidepressants help? Yes, because if I didn't have mine, I wouldn't be able to stay in the state of mind I have been lately. I wouldn't be able to take care of my kids and what I need to do on a daily basis. But do they completely stop the depression? Do they make it go away? Do they make the hurt stop or go away? No. No, they can. Because they can give you too high of a dose. But personally, I don't want to walk around like a zombie. I like feeling things. And I want to feel happiness with my children. So I choose not to be on a high dose of an antidepressant. And to be 100% honest, I don't take it all the time like I should. That's okay. It works for me, but I've got to learn to cope myself and stop thinking that it's not okay because I know better. So the message I'm trying to get out there, you guys, is yes, antidepressants work. Yes, they make a difference if you allow them to. Don't be ashamed that you need help. If you need help and you don't know how to speak up, just tell your doctor. I'm really sad lately. What can I do? They're either going to do one or two things. Ask you a bunch of questions and prescribe you something right then and there. Or they'll ask you a bunch of questions, prescribe you a low dose of something right then and there, and refer you to a psychologist. Just because you have to go see a psychologist, which is just a big word for a therapist, does not mean something is wrong with you. So remember, it's okay. Okay?